A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us on this week's edition of Almond Finance and Wealth Report. We remain your source for all the latest happenings in the world of business. Staying safe is now our collective responsibility. Make sure you do your part. My name is Lucille Lube. Welcome to the program. On our lineup this week, first we join Faith and our guest, Mr. Shola Tinubu, Managing Director, Skip Nigeria Limited, on the CEO Rendezvous, where they examined the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic losses on the insurance industry. Speaking during the interview, Mr. Tinubu said that the insurance industry will have little claims exposure because many businesses in Nigeria are extremely underinsured. Do take a listen.
Businesses in Nigeria are actually extremely underinsured. Insurance penetration in Nigeria, I'm ashamed to say, is as low as 0.3%. Just the fire insurance, many of the small businesses don't even have it. Just the business interruption following the fire insurance for even, loss of your income following the fire, they don't even have it.
On the lineup today, we will also bring you a special report on business interruption insurance in the light of COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, many small business owners are not even aware of the insurance. Take a listen.
No, I've not heard anything like that.
No, I've not heard about it.
No.
Okay, I've not heard about it.
Plus, of course, all the other extras will bring you on the program each week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the lineup. Details in just a moment. Please stay with us.
A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the State of Almond Finance and Wealth Reports. Today, I have a distinguished guest on set with me. Together, we'll be looking at the topic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic losses on the global insurance industry. And of course, we're going to narrow it down to the Nigerian insurance industry as well. I'm talking about no other person than the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of one of the foremost insurance broking firms in Nigeria, Skip Nigeria Limited. He was also the immediate past president and chairman of council of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers. And for a lot of people who don't know, he's an actuary. And a friend of mine would jokingly say that actuaries are the strong men of insurance business. I'm talking about no other person than Mr. Shola Tinubu, who is my guest on the program this week. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us on the program. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, sir, the total 9/11 losses on the global insurance industry was over $43 billion US. More recently, the Lloyd's of London have said that once all these have settled down, that the expected losses from the COVID-19 pandemic on the global insurance industry would likely rise to about $203 billion US, which is way above the 9/11. Does this surprise you in any way?
No, it doesn't, Faith. Essentially, this pandemic is a phenomenon we have not seen in the form that it has come at this time of our lives. But we must be very careful that not to bandy numbers, or when we bandy numbers, we be careful that we're not just relying on them as gospel, because we don't even know when the effects of the COVID will stop, especially as regards the economic effects, where the health effects would have been resolved pretty much earlier. I think we're going to be sitting down with economic effects for years to come, and then you don't know what that would mean. But in terms of claims and the rest, in terms of what will bring to the table, it will be in various things. You don't know how many people are insured versus people who are not insured. So even if the effects are there and the losses are there, how do you then be able to talk about those that are actually insured losses versus the ones that are not. But definitely, I'm not surprised about those numbers.
Now, this is not just from events cancellations, like we have seen some of the major events like the Olympics and all that. I know some of the major players actually took a bite from the likes of the Alliance of this world, took a bite from that. But what would you say is also part of the reason why the figure is this high compared to 9/11?
Physical impact of 9/11 was actually localized to America. Although it had certain extensions regarding flights, etc., but this was for a very short period, even more in America than in everywhere else in the world. Here in Nigeria, we're flying, our businesses were going, even though 9/11 had occurred. Now, this global pandemic that we had, I think it's a phenomenon we've never seen before. It's as if the whole world froze, all within the same couple of months. And all the businesses froze with it. The economies froze with it. And with that kind of impact, you could continue to count to infinity the kind of effect. I'm even surprised that you would even be, the figure would be that low, if you ask me. I'm sure the people who gathered that statistic must have been looking at it from their own end. If you look at the loss to the Nigerian economy alone, if you look at the effect of the COVID on the price of oil, and then take that to all the millions of barrels of oil that we actually deliver per day, and then do that to all the oil producing countries of the world, think about that. The losses are going to be incredible.
Okay, now speaking of which, let's bring it back home. The chairman of the Nigerian Insurance Association, NIA, in a recent interview said that the Nigerian insurance industry will record increased claims from COVID-19 pandemic as a result of companies laying off their staffs, as well as claims from attacks by hoodlums on homes and some factories during the lockdown. To what degree would you say this will actually have effects on the Nigerian insurance industry?
The same thing I said before. A lot of times we're estimating things, so and based on certain assumptions, and the assumptions that the NIA probably were looking at are valid, in the sense that when you have offices and office blocks closed and the like, there's a tendency for there to be break-ins and the like also happening in there. So you have losses that would occur. But also, we now saw a different phenomenon. The insurance companies they were seeing that they were having lower losses on motor, for example.
Yes, because people were at home.
People were at home, and people were not moving as much. And therefore, the propensity to have accidents significantly reduced. Some underwriters even started giving discounts,
premium back,
back to insured, saying that in acknowledgement of that. So there's going to be win some, lose some type of thing, and then the balances will then show at the end of the day. But then we know that there's going to be significant losses. Like I said before, how many of these losses would have been insured losses? So you have been burglaries, you would have been the like, but you might find that it may have been fires. Sometimes we have fires in markets, and the industry doesn't take as much of a hit because many of these people may not have been insured. So time will tell. But what is also very clear, and we should mention at this point in time, is that insurance companies have actually been paying significant claims. If you look at 2018, you're probably talking about close to about maybe over 200 or between 200 and 300 billion naira worth of claims that the industry was also paying at that time. For 2019, we haven't even closed the books for 2019 yet, and it's likely to be even significantly higher than that. So the insurance companies are there, geared up, ready to pay claims, but they always have to be able to anticipate what claims are going to come out, so that they can be able to manage their treasury.
Okay. Now, one of the critical issues that has dominated conversations in the global insurance space is the refusal of most insurance companies to pay out on business interruption claims resulting from the virus outbreak. A lot of people have asked me why, and I'm also going to ask you. Why are insurance companies refusing to pay on business interruption as a result of this COVID?
Okay, I think we should understand certain fundamentals. If none of us were expecting this COVID, if none of us were thinking that it was something we should insure, then a lot of times what you find out is that many people just did not insure it. Now, when the losses now occurred, the first thing people thought is that, oh, I have a business interruption. Yeah, but did your business interruption policy cover this eventuality? I said, it must, because it has happened now. Yeah, but no, did you think it was going to happen? When you were having discussions with your insurers or your brokers, did you say, please make sure that a pandemic is covered, and a pandemic that covers COVID, which we did not even know existed? We'll get to that. A business interruption policy doesn't usually stand alone. It stands following a material damage policy. So material damage policy is a policy that will cover your building, your factory against fire, theft, and all those kind of perils. And then you then have a business interruption that covers your income that flows from those activities. But usually it is a condition that you must have damage, physical damage, as defined in the material damage policy before you can even have a business interruption policy. So a business interruption claim. So if you don't have any such damage, then obviously you can't even be going to your business interruption. So for example, if you insured against fire alone or your material damage, and then what happened was flood, and then you now want to have a business interruption following flood, when really your policy that you had did not cover, you only chose to cover fire, you didn't want to cover flood, you didn't want to cover the rest. You said no, it's too expensive, or the like, for whatever reason. So you say, I'm not in a flood plain, so I don't think it will happen to me, and therefore I don't need to be paying premiums for flood, and then it happens to you. Then the business interruption following that obviously will be hampered. Now, if you want to then cover diseases such as this, then did you have the appropriate clauses that actually bring that to bear? So if you didn't have it, and there are various even clauses, there are various types of clauses for it. There are various contracts. If you were selling masks, there are different types of masks, and so which one exactly did you buy? Which one exactly did you want? Which one did you buy? So even there are different clauses that would have covered it, and some of them would have covered it based on listing. So if it listed certain diseases that could be covered, and this one was not listed, then definitely that would not have been it then. And so you're talking about the regulator of the UK, the FSA, have also approached the court so that the court could actually come to a decision that could help both consumers and the insurance industries, so that they don't have to quarrel over it. And this is the type of thing I think we should, copy in this market, whereby it's a friendly matter, has been taken to court just to be able to give interpretation to a certain issue, of which we have a lot of, that's going to have a large impact on society, and they're doing that. I hear the judgment is going to come out in July, and I'm sure that judgment would also guide a lot of people all over the world regarding those same wordings. Because if your wording is different, then the judgment may not help you. But one thing that one needs to be very careful about is if we get an interpretation of wording that it is covered by those wordings, and we found that the insurers never build it into the premiums, then that means they have no reserves to be able to cover it. So what's going to happen is that it may even take a lot of insurance companies out, and their reserves for other things will be eaten up with that, and some of them will get into trouble.
Okay, Esther, let me just ask you this question. As a small business owner myself and all that, so I'm just trying to picture in a situation like this, under what or policy or arrangement would have been best for business owners and all that, given the lockdown and all of that, as it has affected businesses generally? So under what policy, or what kind of policy would have been beneficial to those in businesses and small businesses especially? Let
me say this, because businesses in Nigeria are actually extremely underinsured. Insurance penetration in Nigeria, you know, I'm ashamed to say, is as low as 0.3%. And this is in comparison to leaders in Africa, in South Africa, that has maybe 10%. But then I think even there is even a bit, maybe even higher than UK. So South Africa is very special with that. But it's very low, such that even we are talking about a pandemic, which is a 1 in a billion or 1 in a million, I don't know the stats for that activity or event. Yet, just the fire insurance, many of the small businesses don't even have it. Just the business interruption following the fire insurance for even, you know, loss of your income following the fire, they don't even have it. So I can assure you that it's a real stretch to be thinking that those people would have been sophisticated enough, understand enough, and be able to bring out the amount of money required to be able to get those kind of covers, knowing fully well that this is something we've never heard of before. It's not, they're just telling me something may happen, and they say, what is it? I say, well, I don't even know really, because it's never happened before, but it may happen, but bring money as premium so that we can cover it. It will be a hard sell for a lot of the small businesses. Even for sophisticated, large manufacturers, there are even issues. I can tell you, if you see some of the presentations I've made in more recent times, even when they were looking at globally in terms of the type of high impact, when you're looking at risk management or enterprise risk management, and they were looking at the high impact possibilities that could happen, and they were listing stuff. They listed, I think in 2018 or thereabouts, they listed pandemics as number 10 in hierarchy. But when it came to likelihood of happening, pandemics were not even in the list at all, even on a global basis. So we're not talking about just Nigeria. On a global basis, when they were doing the assessment, it wasn't on anybody's radar. So you could even imagine them now coming to a retail outfit somewhere here in Nigeria and telling them there was something that even globally they don't think is likely to happen. But in terms of whether, if it happens, what will be the effect in terms of severity, it was number 10 in the world. So if we say, you know, COVID deaths are traditionally, and the statistics changes from America to Spain to Nigeria, but you could say 3%, 3 in 100. And you say, oh, that means 97% of the people will not be affected. 97% of people who actually come out with the symptoms, who are actually positive, will not be affected, will not die. Okay. But if you are one of the 3 people that die, then it is 100% for you. So when you now want to look at the risk management steps you should take to be able to either prevent and protect your community and protect your family and that, then you should go that extra mile, because if you know, if this happens, you know, it hasn't happened to anybody in your street, anybody in your estate, anybody, but it happens to you. If it just happens to you, then there's no excuse. You can't say, okay, let's share the death. That's you can't. It is 100%. So I think those are the things that, you know, we need to look at it from that perspective.
All right, welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you our special report on business interruption insurance in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. Happy viewing.
Business interruption insurance is insurance coverage that replaces income loss in the event that business is halted by some reason such as fire or a natural disaster. This type of insurance also covers operating expenses, a move to a temporary location if necessary, payroll taxes, and loan repayments. Business interruption insurance also applies if government actions cause operations to cease temporarily, resulting in loss for a firm, such as the government-mandated shutdown of all non-essential businesses in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. While business interruption insurance ought to be top priority for business owners, both small, medium, and big, the sad reality is that most business owners are not even aware of the existence of business interruption insurance in Nigeria. We went to town to find out how the pandemic has affected their business operations.
This lockdown has really affected my business, likewise every other business in Nigeria. As it is now, when this problem first started in March, we thought it was just a child's play, that that after a week, everything will fizzle out. But with the way it is now, it seems that the situation is getting worse, and we actually expect government to do something about small businesses like this. Like me now, I've not opened this place for the past 2 months since this incident happened. I just came today, but when I came now, I can't find anybody that I will attend to.
If we should start talking about effects, we'll talk from now till tomorrow. The effect has affected us a lot. A lot. Nobody believes it's going to extend to this time. Nothing, no money, no anything. Even before the lockdown, there's no sales. Everywhere is dry. Now they now initiate lockdown again. So no money, we are just there. Now they ask us to resume. We resume 9, we close 3. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Since we've been opening now, no customer. I sell household things, souvenirs. When there's no party, there's no market. So I don't know how government is going to be of help for us.
It really affects us though. No money, no food, nothing. We are just at home.
Really affecting us, because normally customers are not coming because of the lockdown, and the interstate where we were doing, we're not doing it. So it's really affecting us, but we still thank God for our life.
The consensus from most business owners is that if they are properly educated about business interruption policy or any other insurance products that will help mitigate the losses on their business, they are more than willing to accept it.
If I see the outline of the policy, the objective of the policy, maybe I should be able to subscribe to it.
Until someone give me better explanation on it, for me to know maybe it's what I can do or not. So until I hear full details about it before I can answer the question.
Yes, now since they will give us something from it. Zamuyi.
I would like to buy it, yeah.
That's our time on the program this week. Many thanks for being a part of it. Join us again next week for a fresh package. In the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. My name is Lucille Lugbe. Until next time, are you uninsured thinking of defrauding an insurance company through false claims? You better think again, because insurers are very smart. What do I mean? Enjoy our parting shot this week. Bye-bye.
Story of what was the first place winner in the recent Criminal Lawyers Award contest. Okay, you ready? You really aren't, but I'm going to read it to you. Charlotte, North Carolina. A lawyer purchased a box of very rare and expensive cigars, then insured them against many other things, fire. Within a month, he had smoked all 24 of these great cigars, and without yet having made even his first premium payment on the policy, the lawyer filed a claim against the insurance company. In his claim, the lawyer stated the cigars were lost in a series of small fires. The insurance company refused to pay, citing the obvious reason that the man had consumed the cigars in a normal fashion. The lawyer sued and won. Stay with me here. Delivering the ruling, the judge agreed with the insurance company that the claim was frivolous. The judge stated, nevertheless, that the lawyer had a policy from the company which it had warranted that the cigars were insurable and also guaranteed that it would insure them against fire, without defining what was considered to be acceptable fire, and was obligated to pay the claim. Rather than endure lengthy and costly appeal process, the insurance company accepted the ruling and paid $15,000 to the lawyer for his loss of the 24 cigars lost in the fire. Now the best part. After the lawyer cashed the check, the insurance company had him arrested on 24 counts of arson. One of you may one day have an attorney like that in your church.